Okay, hello? Mic check. Klaro akong tingog. Test mic. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test mic. 1, 2. Okay, good afternoon. Miss Montoya, Nerio, Susi, Alin, The Chile, Magadan, Kisagan, Kerubin, Dadang, Peñalosa, Kabaktulan, and yes, happy birthday ni Dadang karon. Naay pasalubong niya, naay sobra-sobra. Kana dili nagasgas Miss Montoya. Nag-echo ang laptop ug ang phone ang signal. Mao nang mura gasgas. Di palayo na akong cellphone. Okay, very good. Okay na. Good afternoon sa tanan nakalagin. Latan sa ato gamay ang uban. Good afternoon, Miss Raganas. Ang gi-birthdayhan karon wa man nagbali-bali. Kasi birthday karon. Wala ko nakita sa Facebook. Okay, so start ta karon ta daod. Gasgas pagyapon, Miss Magadan, or dili na? Okay, let us start formally. Good afternoon, everyone. So, ang atong week 4 nga topic is continuation sa week number 3, which is Introduction to Leadership and Decision Making, Part 2. So, our topic for this week will be this. Okay, so topic number 1, decision making. Then topic number 2, decision making techniques. And then sub-topic niya is group decision making techniques, and letter B, individual decision making techniques. Okay? So, ang inyong learning outcomes para sa aning topic will be this. I will be posting learning outcomes. So, we have 2. Number 1, explain the significance or importance of a decision maker or makers in an organization. And then number 2, sa atong learning outcomes, compare the difference between group and an individual decision making. Okay? So, first question before kita mag-formally start para sa inyo unsa ang decision making? So, comment your answer. Akong i-post diri sa GC pod ang question number 1. What is decision making? Okay, personal answer. Please comment your answer. Then sa wala diri sa atong live streaming na ako i-post sa inyohang group chat. Again, question number 1. Before ta mag-tackle sa decision making, ako sa pangutan-on sa inyo kung unsa ang decision making para sa inyo. Okay, i-post na ako sa inyong GC sa katong mga dili maka-appeal sa live stream pero sa group chat makatubag sila, maka-participate gihapon. Okay? So again, so we have answer from Miss Nerio. For me, decision making is the decision you make or decide. Okay, very simple term. Thank you, Miss Nerio. And then we have Miss Kisagan. Decision making is all about making choices. Okay. Then from Jenny Cassis is a process of making decision. And answer from Kabaktulan, decision making is regarded as the cognitive process resulting in the selection of a belief or course of action among several possible alternative options. It could be either rational or irrational. So, parehas mi sa answer ni Miss Kabaktulan. Very good. Naani siya sa Wikipedia. Okay? So, mag-start na ko. Decision making. Okay. Decision making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolutions. It is regarded as the cognitive process resulting in the selection of a belief or a course of action among several possible alternative options. It could be either rational or irrational. So, morning parehas na mo answer ni Miss Kabaktulan. Decision-making process is a reasoning process based on assumption of values, preferences, and beliefs of the decision maker. So, every decision-making process produces a final choice. So, naputi nag-answer ganina about choices, which may or may not prompt action. Okay? So, nag-answers dire. So, kisa itong last, okay? So, we have here, Ms. Raganas, is the process of making choices by gathering a decision, information, and, okay, naputol man, Ms. Raganas. So, natuhlatan niya ang imong sumpay. Then, we have answer from Mr. Kervin. It's all about making or paggawa. Okay, so kulangan og isa ka term kay decision making ni siya Kervin. So kung making lang, orag kulangan ang atong thought or notion sa anang idea. So ang full niya term is decision making. And then we have answer from Miss Peñalosa. Decision making is assessing alternative solutions and how you make choices. Okay. And from Miss Kainglit, it is a kind of selection, doing right or wrong, being called as decision making. Okay, very good. And from Miss Magadan, decision making is something that a person uses his or her critical thinking skills for the effective result in making decision. Okay, so critical thinking is logic na siya. Then we have here from Si kung ano no, si Miss Loklok ni si King Larry na dayag. Correct ba ko? Please comment kung mao ba ni si Miss Loklok. So, from her, the ability to make choices. Okay, very good. And we have answer from Miss Montoya. Process making choices, identifying decision. Okay, very good. And from Mr. Talara, decision making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision. Okay, thank you. And from Farah Allen, decision making is one of the significant of any individuals or a group of people that make choices and make a final conclusion. Okay, so confirm si King Larry is si Miss Lukluk. Okay, thank you for confirming. So let us proceed sa decision making. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. J-Boy Tadlas. Please answer question number 1, Mr. J-Boy. I-comment lang. Ito rin nabasahon na niya. So, moving on. Decision making can be regarded as a problem-solving activity, yielding a solution to be optimal or at least satisfactory. It is therefore a process which can be more or less rational or irrational and can be based on explicit or tacit knowledge and beliefs. Tacit knowledge is often used to fill the gaps in complex decision-making processes. Usually, both of these types of knowledge, tacit and explicit, are used together in the decision-making process. Human performance has been the subject of active research from several perspectives. So we have here psychological perspective, examining individual decisions in the context of a set of needs, preference, and values in the individual has or seeks. Then we have cognitive perspective, the decision-making process regarded as a continuous process integrated in the interaction with the environment. And then we have normative perspective. It is the analysis of individual decisions concerned with the logic of decision making or katong critical thinking na mention ganina, or communicative rationality and the invariant choice it leads to. A major part of decision making involves the analysis of a finite set of alternatives described in terms of evaluative criteria. Then the task might be to rank these alternatives in terms of how attractive they are to the decision makers when all the criteria are considered simultaneously. Another task might be to find the best alternative or to determine the relative total priority of each alternative. So for instance, if alternatives represents projects competing for funds or katong kwarta nga pundo, when all the criteria are considered simultaneously, okay, so solving such problems is the focus of multiple criteria decision analysis or MCDA. So when you say multiple criteria, meaning daghan na siya, okay? And then this area of decision making, although very old, has attracted the interest of many researchers and practitioners and is still highly debated as there are many MCDA or katong multi-criteria decision analysis methods which may yield very different results when they are applied on exactly the same data. This leads to the formulation of a decision-making paradox. So kinahanglan diri katong gi-mention kanina, critical thinking. So logical decision making is an important part of all science-based professions where specialists apply their knowledge in a given area to make informed decisions. For example, medical decision making often involves a diagnosis and the selection of appropriate treatment. So, example ani, kung ang diagnosis nimo is cancer, so ang treatment pod katong treatment para sa cancer, dili tong treatment nga para sa mental illness kay lahi ang labas ana. Okay? Okay, but naturalistic, naturalistic decision making research shows that in situations with higher time pressure, higher stakes, or increased ambiguities, experts may use intuitive decision making rather than structured approaches. So, take note ato, intuitive decision making and structured decision making. They may follow a recognition, prime decision that fits their experience and arrive at a course of action without weighing alternatives. The decision maker's environment can play a part in the decision making process. For example, environmental complexity is a factor that influences cognitive function. A complex environment is an environment with a large number of different possible states which come and go over time. Studies done at the University of Colorado have shown that more complex environments correlate with higher cognitive functions, which means that a decision can be influenced by location. Kung pasabot ana is, ang usa daw ka decision, maka-influence ang lugar na diha. Okay? So when you say kini siya nga lugar daghan diri rich, so maka-influence po ang atong decision making. Or kung diri nga lugar is daghan poor, so magdepende pod ang lugar ana. So lahi pa natong decision making. Okay? Depende sa place or location. One experiment measured complexity in a room by the number of small objects and appliances present. A simple room had less of those things. Okay, cognitive function was greatly affected by the higher measure of environmental complexity, making it easier to think about the situation and make a better decision. Okay, so daghan na nag-comment sa ilang answer sa question number 1. Ato sa sila basahon. Okay, so before atong basahon. Okay, so thank you Miss Ampalayo for logging in. Kinsa pa ni uban bagko para kasulod, Veliadores, Abakahen, Tadlas, the Chile si Baring, Gamo. Okay, so let us read the answers for question number 1 from Allen Jane Abakahin. Okay, decision making, who makes important decisions? One of the key decision makers within the Department on Energy Issues. Okay, so under siguro sa Department of Energy. And then we have answer from Miss Dadang. Di ba, birthday ni mo karon, Miss Dadang? Decision making is the process of making choices by gathering information. And then from Villadores, decision making is a cognitive process resulting in the selection of a belief. So, murag kulang. Ako na siya ang giansiran ganina. Parehas yapon ta og reference at Wikipedia. And then we have from Kerubin, in its simplest sense, decision making is the act of choosing between two or more courses of action. Okay, very good. And from the Chile, decision making is an ability to decide or making choices. And then from Susi, decision making is an act of choosing rational or irrational decision. Okay, so from Tadlas, decision making is allowing professional to solve the problem. Okay, so dili lang kay professional pod ang mag-solve sa problem. Mga kuan po normal people, bisan dili professional, na po na sila ability to make a decision. Okay? So, dili lang kay professional. Okay, so Mr. Tadlas, and then from Christopher Baring, decision making is a process of making choices step by step. Okay, so na siya process. From number 1, dili ka pwede moabot diretso sa number 10. So, moagi ka sa number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay, so dili pwede mo lakbay. Okay, step by step process na siya. And then we have from Gamo, decision is deciding or making choices. Okay, so napabay uban answer? Wala pa? Okay, let us proceed. Okay, mo to siya ang decision making. And then let us proceed sa topic number 2, which is decision making techniques. Okay, so we have first katong group decision making techniques, and then ang ikaduha nga subtopic is individual decision making techniques. And we have answer from Ms. Marilove Vicente. Decision making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolutions. Okay, very good. So let us proceed sa topic number 2, decision making techniques. Okay, so decision making techniques can be separated into two broad categories. First, group decision making techniques, and second, individual decision making techniques. Individual decision making techniques can also often be applied by a group. Okay, so before we proceed, I will read the answer of Ms. Ampalayo. Decision making is related to planning, organizing, directing, and controlling functions of a manager. So muna yung ipangbuhat kasagara sa mga BSBA students na to under sa ilang organization nga subject. Okay, we have planning, organizing, directing, controlling nga mga terms. So sa BSBA nga subject, organization. So let us proceed. Group decision making techniques. So we have 6 types of group decision making techniques. So first, we have from the group decision making techniques, we have here consensus decision making. Okay? Tapos ang i-post. Consensus decision making. This technique tries to avoid winners and losers. Consensus requires that a majority approve a given course of action, but that the minority agree to go along with the course of action. So, mani siya katong mas kadaghanan. In other words, if the minority opposes the course of action, consensus requires that the course of action be modified to remove objectionable features. Okay, so kung ang minority dili mo yan sa ana nga course of action, i-modify na siya sa kadaghanan para walay objections gikan sa mga minority. Okay, so number two, we have the voting based methods. Voting based. This is under group decision making techniques. Okay, so under sa voting based methods, we have here majority. A majority requires support from more than 50% of the members of the group. Thus, the bar for action is lower than with consensus. Okay, so 50% means half sa population or members sa group. Then we have here plurality. Plurality, where the largest block in a group decides, even if it falls short of a majority. And then next we have quadratic voting. Wait lang. Okay, so quadratic voting allows participants to cast their preference and intensity of preference for each decision as opposed to a simple for or against decision. It addresses issues of voting paradox and majority rule. And then lastly, under sa number two, voting-based methods, we have range voting. Okay, so range voting lets each member score one or more of the available options. The option with the highest average is chosen. This method has experimentally been shown to produce the lowest Bayesian regret among common voting methods, even when the voters are strategic. And then number three, under the group decision making, we have the Delphi method. This is number three, Delphi method. Delphi method, this technique is a structured communication technique for groups originally developed for collaborative forecasting but has also been used for policy making. And then number four, dot democracy. Dili na siya democracy, dot democracy. Okay, so this technique, wait sa ato sa i-post para may screenshot. Okay, so this technique is a facilitation method that relies on the use of special forms called democracy. They are sheets that allows large groups to collectively brainstorm and recognize agreements on an unlimited number of ideas they have each wrote or gisulat. And then number five, we have participative decision making. Okay, this technique occurs when an authority opens up the decision-making process to a group of people for a collaborative effort. And then lastly, under the group decision-making techniques, we have the decision engineering. Decision engineering. So, ato sa i-post. Okay, so decision engineering. This technique uses a visual map of the decision-making process based on a system dynamics and can be automated through a decision modeling tool integrating big data, machine learning, and expert knowledge as appropriate. Okay, so that is uh, the six types of decision-making techniques under sa group decision making techniques. So let us proceed dito sa individual decision making techniques. Later na atong question and answer portion ha. So kini siya ang individual decision making techniques. So here we have 8 types of techniques. So number 1 under individual decision making techniques, decisional balance sheet. This technique lists the advantages and disadvantages or katong mga benefits and costs, pros and cons of each option. So gisuggest na siya by Plato's Protagoras and by Benjamin Franklin. And then number 2, expected value optimization. Okay, so kini expected value optimization. This technique chooses the alternative with the highest probability weighted utility, possibly with some consideration for risk aversion. This may involve considering the opportunity cost of different alternatives. And then we have number 3, satisficing. And spelling, satisficing. Okay, satisficing. This technique examines alternatives only until the first acceptable one is found. The opposite is maximizing or optimizing, in which many or all alternatives are examined in order to find the best option. And then number 4, acquiesce to a person in authority or expert. So kini siya, mo ni siya ang follow the orders types of person. So kini siya, following orders from people who are expert in what they are doing or a person who has the authority to make a decision. So kini siya nga type is katong magsunod ka unsa ang iingon sa imo sa usa ka expert sa anha nga field or katong na authority to make a decision. So mo follow ka sa, and then we have number 5, anti-authoritarianism. Okay, so this technique takes the most opposite action compared to the advice of mistrusted authorities. Okay, so opposite action kung dili ka ga-trust sa katong mga naay authority to make decisions. Mo against kanila ana. Okay, take note from the word anti-authoritarianism. So, kuha siya kanang kabaliktaran sa number 4 or iyang opposite. And then number 6, we have flippism. Flippism, I think kita tanan nakabuhat nga ni flippism para sa atong pag-decide. So flippism, let me just post this. Okay, so flippism. This technique is a technique of taking a chance like flipping a coin. So, man siyang gitawag nga flippism. So, flip nimo. Like flipping a coin of heads or tails. Unsa man, ulo ba or luyo. Cutting a deck of playing cards and other random or coincidence methods. Or prayer. Tarot cards, astrology, augurs, revelation, or other forms of divination, superstition, or pseudoscience. So, I think kita tanan nabuhat na ning type na technique, flippism. Okay? And then we have number 7, automated decision support. Okay, so this technique sets up criteria for automated decisions. Naka-experience po siguro tatanan ani automated decision. And then lastly, we have number 8, decision support systems. Okay, so this technique uses decision-making software, meaning computerized na siya. Kaya nagamit siya og software. Okay, so when faced with highly complex decisions or when considering many stakeholders, categories, or other factors that affect decisions. So, naka-program na siya kung saan i-decide if na-input na dito ang mga data. I-analyze niya siya sa software and then magawas ang iyang result. Okay? So, muna siya ang decision-making techniques, both group decision-making techniques and individual individual decision-making techniques. Okay, so napabay nag-answer sa question number 1 before ta mo proceed sa question number 2? Dili na siya assignment, Miss Ampalayo. Question to siya para sa participation sa aning online class. Okay, so any questions before ko mag-post sa question number 2? Please comment your reactions, opinions regarding the types of decision-making techniques. Okay, so kung walay mag-comment, let us proceed. So, question number 2, ato ta sa inyong learning outcomes. So, sa number 1, muna siya katong learning outcome number 1, which is ang atong question number 2. Explain the significance or importance of a decision maker or makers in an organization. Okay, so we still have about 20 minutes sa atong klase. So, pwede pa mo maka-answer. And then, question number 3. Dilian ko mag-question number 3. Unaw sa ni question number 2. Okay, so I am waiting for your answers para sa question number 2. Okay, na ay nag-answer sa atong group chat si Miss Sakal regarding sa atong question number 1. Decision making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolution. Using by-step decision-making process can help you make more deliberate, thoughtful decision by organizing relevant information and defining alternatives. So, thank you for answering, Miss Glidel. Sakal. Okay, so ang question po sa kining question number 2 posted na po sa atong group chat. If dili mo makasulod sa live stream or maka-comment sa live stream, pwede ra mo dito sa group chat mag-answer. Okay, so we have answer from Miss Peñalosa sa question number 2. Thank you. Ikaw ang first nag-answer. So, according to her, to achieve the goals and objectives of an organization. Okay? Okay, nakabalo po sa goals and objectives sa atong program. Sa BPA na siya. Okay? So take note mo to. Then we have answer from Kerubin. Decision making is important to achieve the organizational goals or objectives within given time and budget. Okay, thank you. I think mo na siyang answer ni Mr. Kerubin sa question number 1. We are now in question number 2, which is explain the significance or importance of a decision maker or makers in an organization. We have answer from Kisagan. It is important since it plays significant role in the planning process that will lead the path in achieving of specific goals. Okay, thank you. And then from Miss Marila Vicente, decision making is the act of making a choice among available alternatives or options. Okay, very good. Question number 1 answer. And ako sa question number 2. Okay, so I'm still waiting for your answer sa question number 2. Nawala lagi yung uban. Nagkagamay ang nakalagin. Okay, so we have answer from Ms. Raganas to achieve the organizational goals, objectives within given time and budget, and can be achieved as per the desired result. Okay ka na mga objectives and goals na po na sa atong program sa BPA, natay kaugalingon nga goals, na po tay kaugalingon nga objectives under sa atong program, which is ang Bachelor of Public Administration. And then from Ms. Alim, the significance of a decision maker is to have one's valuability, dili valua, okay? One's valuability of a person or any organization, and to be able to achieve their goal in a way of helping hand in hand to create one best decision. Okay, thank you for your answer, Ms. Allen. And from the Chile, it is important to achieve specific goals of an organization. And we have answer from Ms. Montoya, decision making is a pervasive function of managers' aim at achieving organizational goal Okay, so that is your answer for question number 1. I am now waiting for your answer of question number 2. Katong wala pa naka-answer. We have answers from Mr. Villadores. It is important because it will educate yourself and make certain that you are fully informed about the contributing factors. Okay, very good. We have answer from Christopher Baring. It is important to have a decision makers in an organization to earn a good flowing of making decision and also easily achieve your goal. Okay, so from Kerubin, the importance of decision making in business is that your staff will be able to make fewer mistakes as they attempt to accomplish the goals you've laid out for them. Okay, so again, we have, okay, so from Miss Nerio, the importance or significance is to achieve goals and objectives within the organization. Also, it helps to search alternatives. Okay, thank you. How about the answers of the others? Bisin as a group chat. Okay, wala yung nag-answer dito sa group chat. And from Mr. Talara, the importance of a decision maker is that they are the one who will make a plan step by step manner to achieve what the organization wants. Be, follow-up question, be? Follow-up question sa number 2. Okay, answer from Ms. Ampalayo. It is important to achieve the organizational goals, objectives within the given time and budget. And from Ms. Gamo, the importance of a decision maker is to motivate the employees within the organization. So, thank you for answering. So, now follow-up questions. Question number 2. Do you know the goals and objectives of your program, the BPA program? Okay? So, muna siyang last na question na inyong dapat ansiran before ta log out. Okay, so answers from Ms. Abakain. It is important because it searches the best alternatives, utilizes the resources properly, and satisfies the employees at the workplace. Okay? So, applicable po ni siya, bisan wala pa ka nag-work, applicable ni siya sa mga students while you are in a classroom. Pero karon wala tay classroom, kay wala tay face-to-face na lecture. Okay? And then from Ms. Kabatulan, importance of decision making is that to achieve the organizational goals. Okay? I think na ay nag-answer sa atong wala day. Okay, so please answer our follow-up questions on number 2. That will be the last question that I will be asking from you. Mhm. Nana ba nag-answer? So we have still answer from Miss Magadan sa question number 2. Sa follow-up question, wala pa yung naka-answer. Nag-research pa lang sila kung sa ang goals and objectives sa ilang program. So let us read answers from Ms. Magadan. The importance of decision maker or makers in an organization is they are the ones who will make effective plan for the benefits of their organization. Okay, thank you. Okay, answer from Ms. Cassis, decision making. It is important role in the planning process. When the managers plan, they decide on many matters as what goals their organization will pursue, what resources they will use. Okay, thank you. Sa follow-up question ako, wala pa yung naka-answer. Let us do. Wala pa may naka-answer. You still have about 4 minutes to 5 minutes para maka-answer sa follow-up question. Okay, wala sila kabalo sa ilang objectives and goals sa ilahang program. My goodness. Kinsa ka ang maka-answer una anhi? Wala pa nag-answer. Where are you guys? Then, so question number 2, answer ni Miss Kainglit. The significant in decision making, giving a good value and good thoughts into one another because it is also the way how we accomplish goal in our organization. Okay, thank you. Very good. But I am still waiting sa inyong answer sa atong follow-up questions regarding sa inyong goals and objectives sa inyong program. Follow-up questions regarding sa inyong wala pa yung naka-answer. Okay, so we will end our online class in a few minutes. Kaya na pa po ko'y klase, 5 to 6. Ang katong wala pa naka-answer, ato na siyang tubagon next meeting. Ayaw mo pag messenger sa ato nga question ha. Next meeting ito nga tansiran para maka-research mo sa inyong program nga goals and objectives. So, 1 minute na lang kapin. Okay? Again, ang inyong assignment na lang. Okay, wala may naka-answer sa follow-up question sa number 2. i-search ninyo kung unsa ang goals and objectives sa BPA program. Okay? So, comment yes if nakuha ninyo ang inyong assignment, and then inyohan ang ihatag ang answer next meeting na to. Dili sa messenger ha. Next meeting na nato ninyo ihatag ang inyong answer. Okay? Ang goals and objectives sa BPA program. Okay? So, wala pa nag-comment yes kung nakuha ba nila ang ilahang uh, things to do after sa online class. Again, i-research ninyo ang inyong goals and objectives sa inyong program. Okay, so katong naka-yes na, pwede na makalag out. Yes, thank you for logging in everyone and joining our class. I will see you next week. I will prepare for my next online class. Stay safe mo and God bless. Kay daghan atong reported cases diri karon sa COVID-19. Okay? So, keep safe mo diha. Keep safe and stay safe. And God bless. Okay? So, ako na ang i-end karon tagtaod ang live stream. Okay, again, salamat sa pag-online and pag-attend o pag-join sa atong klase. Okay? Okay, pwede na makalag out. Okay, salamat tanan. Live stream has ended. Thank you and God bless. Stay safe and keep safe. See you all next week. Do not forget your assignment, that is to research kung unsa ang inyong goals and objective sa inyong program. Okay? So I will be ending the stream now. Thank you and good evening.